everybody, welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you've been here before, and welcome if you're new. Today I'm here with a crafty, chatty catch-up video where I'm going to show you some of the things that I've been making and what I've been doing over the last few weeks. So I do hope that you enjoy seeing that. Before I get into that though, I just want to say a few things. First of all, I'd like to say a massive thank you to everyone who's been supporting me here on this channel. This channel hit over 1,000 subscribers in the last couple of weeks, and I can't really believe that. It takes a lot for me to put myself in front of the camera, and I'm blown away. I'm blown away by your support. Thank you so much. It really means so much to me. I can't really put it into words. I'm totally blown away by the response, so thank you so much. The other thing that I really would like to say is I hope you're all really doing well at the moment, and I hope you're all feeling well. And it's been such a difficult few months, it's been such a difficult year, and I must say that over the last month or so I've personally struggled with the situation. I felt a real lack of mojo in terms of creativity, and then that feels horrible because that's normally how I deal with ups and downs. And I just want to say, if you've been feeling the same, then you're not alone. I think many people have experienced feeling quite flat and not feeling creative, but I'm starting to come out of the other side of that now. So if you're feeling like that too, I'm sure you will come through it as well. And I just want you to know that you're not alone. Thank you so much to everybody who's been following my other videos. I took a week break before this video because, like I said, I was feeling a bit flat and also a bit burnt out. And I'd just like to say thanks to everyone who's been following the other videos and been doing the seasonal sampler. And I'd really like to give a shout out to Jeanette Clegg of Crafty Clegg Creations, because she's been showing my patterns and what she's been making from my patterns on her lovely podcast. So definitely check out her channel. She's got a lovely channel. She makes so many different things. She's super creative. I love seeing her projects. She's also got a fabulous sewing room that she gives a tour of in one of her videos. So definitely check out Crafty Clegg's Creations. Today I'm going to actually give you a bit of a tour of my sewing room at the end of this video. As you can see, I'm in my new space. You can't actually see much of it from this angle, but at the end of the video I'll do a little tour to show you what my new sewing space is like. That's taken up a lot of my time over the last couple of weeks, actually. Moving my things from the other room into this one, and moving the things that were in this room into the other one. We've swapped them over, but it feels so much nicer to be in this bigger room. The light is so much better and I feel more productive. I've got more space. It's just brilliant. So I hope you'll stick around to the end of the video to see a little tour of this sewing room. So, as well as making masks, which I know pretty much everybody in the sewing community has been making lately, and I'm not going to show you those because they're not the most fun thing to make. But as well as making masks, I've also been making a few other little things. So the first of which is I decided to put my little house block onto this little sewing case that I've made, and at this point of filming I just haven't put the press stud button to fasten it on, but I will be doing that probably after I finish filming this video. And then there will be a tutorial on my blog which will give you the instructions for how to make the little sewing case. There's already instructions for how to make the little house block, and you've seen that in the previous video as well. So this little sewing case, inside it has a pocket here, it has a pocket here as well, and then I put some felt in the middle and made a felt pocket out of it, and I also put an applique EPP flower on using the hexiform, and before I finished stitching all the way around, I put some toy stuffing inside it, so when you're sewing you can use it as a little pin cushion. You can just pop your needle stop, or you could put pins in, but I think I'll be using it as like a little needle stop. You can just pop your needle in there, and then because the pocket is felt, you can just put your needle in there when you want to close it all up. And I find I made these pockets this size because they're perfect for putting the small packs of hexiform inside. They just fit in really well, like that. And one will fit in the other side as well. So really, I was thinking of this little case as a case for mini patchwork projects, for taking it out and about if I ever go out and about again, which at the moment feels like I'm not going to be doing that. I haven't been anywhere for a really long time, but anyway, I'm sure we'll get back to normal eventually. But this project came about because Ava and Neve, who it's a Liberty fabric shop in Australia that I'm an ambassador for. Every July they do a Liberty Scrap challenge on Instagram, and this little project was my entry into that, although I was a couple of days late putting it up. That's the way I roll. Everything I do is always a little bit late. So I used all scraps for this project, and I used precious scraps. The binding around the edge is, it was my last piece of Liberty bias binding, and all I have left now is a piece that's about 2.5 inches long, and that's it. I don't think I can do much with that. And also the pieces inside, everything, the whole thing is made from scraps. The blue binding on the pocket, I literally picked out a scrap from my scraps trolley, and it was the exact right size to make the binding, so I got lucky there. And I love this print with this Liberty print. It's called Fergus, and it's got deer on it and flowers, little squirrels, so woodland and floral. It's just a perfect combination of everything that I love. Love animals, love woodland animals, and obviously I love florals. So yeah, it was a really nice little project, and I've been wanting to put the little house block onto a sewing case of some sort for a while now. So I was happy to have finished that little project, and I'm going to share the tutorial, as I said, on my blog. There'll be step-by-step photographs and instructions to show you how to make the case, and also the house block and the templates for that's already there, and I've seen some people have made it already, the house anyway, which is super exciting. So thanks to everybody who's had a go at that. So yeah, I use foam inside this case, and I use foam pretty much inside everything that I make at the moment that's not a quilt or a cushion. And I'm going to do a separate video at some point about using foam because I think it's brilliant, and I was a bit scared of using foam at first, and I'm sure there's other people out there who might think the same as I did, like, is it going to fit under the sewing machine? Is it going to be difficult to sew with? But it's absolutely brilliant. It glides through the sewing machine, and obviously you don't want to have too many layers of it, then you would need a real heavy duty machine. But if you're just sewing one layer of foam like this is, then it works brilliantly, and it gives such a professional feel and a really nice quality to whatever you make. So I really recommend sewing with foam, and like I said, at some point I'm going to do a video all about that, just giving you some little tips and talking you through why I think sewing with foam is brilliant. And while we're on the subject of foam and free patterns, this is my little hexagon needle book, which you may have seen. It's definitely my most popular free pattern, and I've seen so many people make them, but when I make them I use foam to make those as well, and 2 pieces of foam, and it's hand stitched together. But again, it just adds a lovely quality to it. So you can use foam for small projects. But I'll link down below to the hexagon needlebook pattern, and I'll link to the tutorial for this little tiny sewing case as well. So yeah, if you'd like to check those out, you're very welcome to. They're, like I say, they're free. On my website. The needle book is a free blog post. Well, it was a blog post, but I turned it into a PDF so that people could just download it and have the instructions rather than having to go back to the website. So if the little sewing case is popular too, I may do that as well for that. So the other thing that I've been up to recently, again, actually involves using foam, but I finished my hexagon storage basket pattern. So you may have seen some pictures of these if you follow me on Instagram, but here's the original basket that I made back in April now. And when I first started experimenting with this idea, I wasn't sure whether people would want to make one too, but I got such a fabulous response to this that and lots of requests to make a pattern for it. So since then I've been working on that pattern, and I told you in my last Chatty video about my dad testing out the pattern, which was just so special. But yeah, this is the large size basket. The pattern comes in large and small, and it's about 10 inches or so in diameter, and inside there are special pockets for your scissors, other pockets for other bits and bobs. This hexagon pocket here is for glue refills to go into, and there's also a place to put any pens or seam rippers or things like that, and then you can keep your project in the middle. So as part of developing the pattern, I ended up making 4 baskets for my sewing room, and as well as lots of other unfinished baskets as I was testing and tweaking the pattern as I went along, and lots of different prototypes if you like. But I have 4 finished baskets. So I have the pink one that I just showed you, that was the very first one. I have a small pink one as well, which I really love the small size. It's about 7.5 inches in diameter, and it's really handy. I tend to use the small one if I'm going to throw all the bits of a project in and go downstairs or go outside. I find the small one really useful for that. The large ones, I've tended to use them just in my sewing room, just keeping things in there. Here is the large turquoise one, or aqua one. Again, I've emptied it out to show it, but they're just really handy, and they use foam to give it that structure, that rigidity. So yeah, I'm also going to make one with, instead of the hexagon flowers on it, you could also make one with the little butterfly motif on. So I have that in progress at the moment. So yeah, I've used the foam to make it. So that pattern is available now, and if you've already bought that pattern, thank you, really, thank you so much. I really hope that you love it. I've worked really hard on it and worked with various different testers to tweak it and make it the absolute best that it can be. I'm really proud of it, and I really hope that you love it too. So thank you. So I've also worked a little bit on my blocks of the month, and I've finished this block for the Lucy Boston patchwork of the crosses quilt. I was making this one last time I showed you. That's all done. That one's done. And now I'm also in the middle of this one. But I have all the pieces ready for a couple more blocks, all prepped, glue basted and ready. So I'm really enjoying that. And that's about it really. Like I said, I haven't really done that much. So I'll show you around my sewing room now. So I hope you like watching that. So welcome to my sewing room. I'm standing at the doorway now, and this is the view that you get as you come into the room. It's predominantly white, the walls, and the new table I bought is a big long white wooden table from IKEA, and it's just brilliant to have so much workspace. So as you come in, on the right hand side I have this unit which is a kitchen island, also from IKEA, and that is going to be my pressing area. So I have my pressing mat, my wool pressing mat, which I showed you last time, and it is absolutely brilliant. I love it. It's really, really good. The creases come out so quickly. And also on top of the unit I have these drawers, which I get questions about quite often. I bought these drawers maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, probably, yeah, about that, from Laura Ashley. So they're quite difficult to find now, I think, but I love them because they have these illustrations on which are all about sewing, and that one even says quilt. So I'll show you what's inside them. In this drawer here, I keep some hand sewing needles. I also keep more hand sewing needles in that one. In the sewing machine drawer there, I keep the sewing machine needles. In the button drawer, I keep buttons, just some buttons. I have a whole sewing box for buttons. There's just a few in there, some Kathy Kidson ones. In this middle drawer that has a rose on it, I have some of the snap fastenings that I like to use and some hooks and eyes. In this pincushion drawer, I have some pins. In the quilt drawer is actually stitch markers for knitting and a thread cutter. Bit of a miscellaneous drawer, that one. In the mend drawer I have safety pins, and these are the safety pins that you use for, well, most of them are, the bent ones for basting quilts. And the final drawer down here, I have more sewing needles, but these are the big ones for wool and tapestries and things like that. So the large needles, darning needles and things like that. On top I keep this lovely pincushion that my friend Heidi, who is Bessaboo Studio on Instagram, she gave this to me as part of a swap that we did about 2 years ago, a Beatrix Potter swap. She made this beautiful pincushion and it has a pin in the top. I get questions about this pincushion all the time because it is so beautiful. This pin in the top, this is made by another lady who is on Instagram, and I'll put her name at the bottom here. So she makes these incredible handmade pins, and she makes some pincushions too, but really you should definitely check her out because she is just amazing. And definitely check Heidi out too. She is incredible. She's such an incredible maker. I'm going to show you a bag that she made me in a little while, and you just won't believe it. It is absolutely stunning. So above there I have my first pin board, and I have 2 of those at the moment. So I've got my rulers, rotary cutters, scissors up there. Really crucial to have a pegboard. Really crucial to have a pegboard like that, where the sharp things are way out of reach for my little boy, because he's really curious and interested in my sewing room, and I want him to come in here and spend time in here, but I have to make sure anything sharp's going to be out of reach. So that was really important. And then moving along this way, I have another one which I haven't filled yet. Not really sure exactly what I'm going to put on here, but I have my Mr. Darcy and Elizabeth Bennet decorations. There's some pins there. I have my hexagon hook there, some scissors on lovely lanyards, and thimbles, clips and washi tape. So this is my main workspace, and I really needed somewhere to put my printer and my cutting machine, as well as my sewing machine, and I also have an overlocker, but I haven't got that out yet. I really needed a space to put them because they were just on the floor, and the printer is downstairs on the dining room table, and yeah, I just had a sewing machine on a desk in my other room. There wasn't any space for anything else. And also I've got my cutting mat here, which is just so lovely to have a space to cut and not have to put things away to cut and then put them away to sew. And actually I've spent my whole sewing life cutting out on the floor, because it was just easier to cut out on the floor rather than to move things, and I'm really thankful that I don't have to do that now. It's fabulous. So I'm really lucky to be able to cut out at the table. So I have a cutting machine. I can have my computer here as well, and space for my sewing machine. That black thing, that's my tripod for when I'm filming. And at the window I have some more little drawers. I have an IKEA cart that's got some bits and bobs in the top, and some tapestry wools there for a tapestry I'm doing. And this is my comfy hand sewing chair. So the room goes around into like a little nook at the side there. So I put my comfy chair there with my William Morris Strawberry Thief velvet cushion on there, which is just, I really love that cushion. You can see the seasonal sampler is on the wall there. Next to it is an embroidery that we think my gran did, but we're not 100% sure, but we're pretty sure that it's an embroidery she did, so I'll show you that. So when we went through her things last year, we found this embroidery. We didn't know for certain if she did it, but the stitches are so perfect, we thought she probably did do it. So I added some fabric around it to make it into a mini quilt. And above that is a very treasured gift that another Instagram friend gave me, and it's a hexagon made up from lazy daisies, and then it goes into a heart, and she stitched that for me, and I really treasure it. It was such a lovely thing to receive in the post, and she's a lovely friend. So the way this corner is arranged at the moment with those things there, it isn't probably the way it's going to stay. It's just that the nails were already in the wall, so I just hung those up. But I'm hoping, because it is a bit of a blank canvas around here, I'm hoping to get lots of mini quilts and things up on the wall. Yeah, it is a work in progress, this room. So I have my chest of drawers that I brought with me from the other room, with just bits and bobs at the top at the moment. Some more gifts from lovely Instagram friends. The bunny I made at the Katie Living's workshop. There's a photo of me and my gran there on my wedding day. Sorry about the glare. So that's really special. And there's a wooden box over there that says Mummy on it that I got for Mother's Day, and that's got some photos in it. Again, gifts and things that I've made. Things I haven't quite unpacked yet because I still haven't quite finished in here. And I bought this thread rack, and that's on the wall here. And I've got my embroidery threads at the top, my Aurifil embroidery threads, and then other Aurifil and Metler threads, and then down here some Wonderfil threads. So that's my little thread collection. It's gone really dark in here because there's a huge cloud that's come across outside, so I'm thinking there's going to be a downpour. It's really, the sky is quite ominous. I don't know if you can see there. So underneath my comfy chair, I have an amazing bag that was made by Heidi, who I mentioned before. So I'll show you that. So like I said, 2 years ago I did a swap where I made a few things that were Beatrix Potter themed for a Beatrix Potter swap. What I made wasn't anywhere near as good as the things that Heidi sent to me. She sent me the pincushion, and she sent me this amazing bag with all of these hexes on it. Oh my gosh, I just love this so much. And it's perfect for my crochet blanket project. As you can see, I really love weaving in ends. But this is a project that I've been making for so many years. And actually I got a bit disappointed with the way I'd crocheted it, and that's one of the reasons why I kind of stopped. So I absolutely love keeping that project in there, and when I get some time, I'm going to get back to that project. But yeah, this bag is the most beautiful thing. So I love having that. I will treasure that forever. So coming back around the room then, I've got a couple of boxes that I've had to store under the table. They have like wadding in, foam, things like that. But that's okay, I don't mind. They don't take up any room there really. They're not in the way. So I have a big double wardrobe over there, and at the top some more boxes. So I decided the way to organise my things was to use these plastic storage boxes. So the ones at the top have quilt projects in, and I am going to be all primary school teacherish and make labels for them so I know what's in which box, because at the moment I just don't have a clue, I've forgotten. That's the door to leave the room. That's my other trolley with all my scrap fabrics in, the little pieces. That's the wooden chest that now contains a lot of my grand's things that are really precious to me. This is another built-in cupboard, but it's a linen cupboard, so it's got our bedding and towels in it, so it's not craft related. And then I have a little notice board. But again, a big blank canvas. I think I'm looking forward to filling the walls with lots more pictures and things like that. So at the bottom, I forgot to show you the bottom of this cabinet. I have some sewing boxes here, my Cath Kids and sewing boxes. So this one's got all block of the month pieces prepped. In fact, I'll show you a little bit. They're all prepped and ready to go. And there's other embroidery and sewing projects in the other ones, EPP things. And this one here has got some sewing things that my little boy has started to do, which is really lovely. And there's some more works and progress and things like that down there. Projects dotted everywhere. And then in my pink trolley, I have my hexiform shapes, my paper shapes from Sew and Quilt. I have acrylic templates and things in that one. And some small cutting boards and things to do with cutting and pressing. There's glue based and starch and things like that in this one. It's fallen over there, just a little pouch there. So finally I'll just open up this cupboard and show you what that's like inside. It's great storage. My little boy's been hanging these lavender owls on everything, on every door handle. yeah, so let's have a look inside. So this is inside the cupboard. I was originally going to paint the cupboard inside. It's yellow at the back, and then the wood is pine. I was going to paint it all white, but we just ran out of time. So this is what it looks like. It is a little bit Leaning Tower of plastic boxes because that's the way I decided to store things. I've got these plastic boxes here. They have wool and things in the bottom one, embroidery kits that I've bought over the years in that one, and there's 2 dressmaking fabric boxes and then 2 quilting fabric boxes. And then over on the other side I've got vintage fabric here. I've got polka dots and plains and ginghams there. This is the Liberty box, and then I have fat quarters, zips and things. They're all a little bit shoved in but down at the bottom there's just some miscellaneous items, including some vintage sewing boxes, but they're a story for another day, I think. And then paperwork and things and more miscellaneous items. I think there's more sewing projects in that one, but like I say, I definitely need to get some labels on these boxes so I know exactly what's in them. And that's everything really. It is definitely a work in progress, but that's really, really nice to let the room grow as I grow too. And yeah, I'm really happy, and it feels so much better to have more space. And yeah, I'm really lucky. I really, really am lucky that we were able to swap our rooms around. I really, really appreciate having this space to work in. And a really big thank you to my dad for putting all the furniture together for me. So I really hope you enjoyed that tour. I'll be back next week with another video. Next week, I'm not sure what topic it's going to be on. I'm thinking it might be nice to sit down and go through some of the things that used to belong to my gran. Some of the sewing things that she left me, and some of her hand stitching. I just wondered whether you would like to see that, so it'd be like opening up a treasure box of her lovely things. So yeah, let me know if that's a video you'd like to see. So until then, take care of yourselves, and I hope that you stay well and that you get some lovely stitching time, whatever craft it is that you like to do, whether it's sewing, embroidery, cross stitch, knitting, crochet, whatever it is. I do hope that you get lots of lovely stitching time. So I'll see you next week. Bye.